ASMR reality. Tonight, I am going to be talking about work. Before we get started, I want you to watch this short clip.
It just takes work. Shitloads and shitloads of work. Every time I try and dress it up or cut a corner, I get brutally reminded the work just needs doing. The work doesn't care who you are. It just cares that it gets done.
It takes a lot of work, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Because, I've told my story before in an older video. Some of you may have seen it. If you're new, obviously you haven't, but I followed this recipe of hard work. I just believe that if you are starting off from a place of difficulty, if you're poor, if you're in poverty, if you're just not where you want to be, there's really just one way to get ahead, and it just takes an unbelievable amount of work. I heard a saying recently, and it said, "The magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding." The magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. I think most of us know what we have to do to get ahead, but I think that a lot of us just don't want to do it. It's just not what we want to do. And, when you think about work, it's like, why do they pay you? Why does a job pay you? It's because it sucks. It's because nobody would do it for free, There's very few things you can do in life that you would do for free. There are some people that are able to do it. Like, for example, there are people that play video games for a living. And they love playing video games. Even, maybe like people that play golf for a living. But even if you take look at those people, maybe people that play basketball, what we see is the glory. We see them on the basketball court. We see them on TV. What we don't see is the time they spend in practice, the time they spend in meetings, the times they spend driving to the airport to get on the planes and go to the games, and all the locker room talks that they have to listen to the coaches and review footage and watch other players play. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. Like Elon Musk, the guy works like 20 hours a day. It's ridiculous how much he works. I made another video about work-life balance and how I feel like it's a scam, because yes, you can have a work-life balance once you get yourself to a comfortable position, but until you're there, I think it just takes an unbelievable amount of work. And this is not just me, this is not just my theory. If you listen to successful people, they will tell you it takes a lot of work. It's hard, but it doesn't take that long. You just have to put in the effort, There was a lot of jobs, and there still are some jobs, like union jobs, government jobs, where you can work 25 years and they will just give you a check for the rest of your life. But most of us don't have the opportunities for those jobs anymore. So the way that a lot of other jobs work is they allow you to contribute to like an IRA or a 401k where you invest money and that money grows, and then you're putting money in for 25, 30 years, and then you live off that money. And that's the path that I took. Historically, money doubles every 7 years. So if I have $1,000 today and I invest it in just a normal investment fund, like an S&P 500 fund, that's going to, it doesn't have to grow aggressive. It's going to double every 7 years. 1,000 becomes 2,000 in 7 years. It becomes 2 becomes 4 in 14 years. 4 becomes 8 in 21 years. 8 becomes 16 in 28 years. So that's just $1,000 becomes 28,000. So this is the power of compounding interest. So if obviously you're not just going to put 1,000 in and quit, right? You're going to continue to put money in as you work. Every week, every paycheck, money goes in, and you just have to invest enough to do it. But I want to stay away from really the investing side of this, because I just want you to focus on the work. So people are like, well, how can you do it? Like, I worked 70, sometimes 80 hours a week. I would say for at least 15 years, I averaged 70 hours a week. Average. Minimally 65 on average. So like my lowest, like a short work week for me was 60 hours. Sometimes 80, but I would say on average it was like 70 hours a week for about 15 years. And then for probably the 10 years before that, I was working at least probably on average 60, 55, 60. Once I really realized that I gotta get going, because I wanted to retire early. I did not want to be working that hard when I was an old man. And I'm telling you, you don't either. You've got to be doing it better. You cannot be doing just the normal 40 hours, 4 or 5 days a week, taking 2 or 3 days off a week, taking 2 or 3 vacations a year. I don't believe you can do it and end up in a good place. Unless you've got just a really high-paying job that allows you to invest a lot of money. It's really the only way you can do it. But if you're going to be working a normal job, like a regular job, like I had, just a normal job, I worked normal jobs, but I was able to get ahead, and I also was able to make a couple of smart decisions along the way. I bought a house early, so I wasn't throwing money away at rent. I was building equity at an early age, and I kept buying investments as I went. Now, it made me continue to work, but today, I don't look back and have regrets because of where I am today, and I know you won't either. I just think you have to do it. I wish there was another way. I wish I could tell you that there is an easier way, but there is not. There's not. Not if you're going to get ahead, not if you're going to put yourself in a better position when you're older. So, for example, it's not like I'm telling you a doom or gloom story. If you are 20 years old today and you say, I want to retire when I'm 45, you need to work 25 years. And so you just work, and you one day you're 45, you're still young. Like, I'm 51. I still feel young. There's nothing I can't do today that I didn't do when I was 18. In fact, I'm in better shape today than when I was 18. So that's what you have to do. It's called delayed gratification. You have to wait for it. I know there's a lot of things you want today. You would love to have like a sports car, a beautiful mansion. Can't have it today. You have to wait for it. some people are blessed to have it today. My dog is snoring, I'm sorry. Let me go stop her. I'm gonna go pet her so she'll stop snoring. Oh, she stopped. Okay. But that's the reality. I am ASMR reality, and I have to give you the truth. You have to just keep working. And if you've got a job that doesn't allow you to work more, to make more money, then you either need to find another job or get a second job or find a side hustle, something that will allow you to make more money. You just have to. If you have kids and you're going to be a good dad, you're going to have to tell your kids, hey, kids, listen, dad has got to work. He's got to work hard, but I promise you every moment I'm home, I will give you good attention. I will spend quality time with you. Maybe you work 6 days a week so that you can ensure that one day a week you can spend time with them. But if you tell your kids what you're doing and why you're doing it, if you don't do it, they're going to have to do exactly what you're doing. If you don't put in the work, they're going to have to do the same thing. If you have kids that are poor, and they're 18 and you just send them to the wolves, what are they going to do? They're going to have to start in a hole just like you did, Obviously, I'm talking to poor people, which I'm sure I have more poor subscribers than rich subscribers, because I was poor. I was poor, very poor. And that's really what motivated me. I was so poor that it isn't like I love money. I don't love money. I don't love money because I want to blow it and I want to have stupid stuff. Like, I just wanted a nice place to live and I just wanted a decent car that I knew wouldn't break down. I do have a couple little frivolous things that I could do without, but I do live a pretty modest life for what I have, for what I'm capable of. I could spend more, but I just don't want to. I like having the freedom of having a cushion of money that I know I don't have to ever struggle again. And the world is full of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years from now, and so I just would rather not spend it, so that I am better prepared. I find the older I get, the more I find beauty in the simple things, just holding my animals or, walking outside, working, doing yard work or planting a garden. Life does not have to be so complicated. We have made life so complicated. The world gives us these messages that, oh, you need this, you need the latest and greatest. Your iPhone, you've got your iPhone's a year old. Yeah, it works perfect, but get the new model, right? We don't need it. We don't need the new one. Our old one works, Those are the things. Or like clothes. It's like your clothes are fine. You don't need new ones. Just take care of them. That's what I think the world just sends us, this message of consumption. You need to consume, consume, consume. Shop, shop, shop. Buy, buy, buy. And it's just not necessary. When you're young, you have to be doing it better. You have to be disciplined. If you want to get ahead, you have got to do it. You've just got to go to work with a good attitude, and that's what you can do. Again, if you've got a job and you know you need to make more money than you're making now, look around at your company. Is there a job that you would like better? You can have it. You can get that better job. It's possible. With the right attitude and a game plan, you can rise up within a company. If the company you work for doesn't have a position that you really would prefer to have, then you have to say, okay, where do I want to work? Where can I make more money? How can I spend less? money, and then you have to do the right things with it. You cannot make stupid mistakes. I'm not saying you're never going to make any mistakes, but you have to be doing. I made a lot of mistakes, and I still made it to where I needed to be, but there was a lot of times I thought, it's never going to happen. So many days I would have like bad days, and I would get down and think, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this hole. And then like maybe one day I would go home and I would have that feeling that God it's just never going to happen. I'm never going to have to not work all this time. And then maybe like 3 or 4 days later, I would have just a great day. Something great would happen, and I would say, okay, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make this. I just got to keep going. And that's what you have to do. You just have to keep going. You can't give up. You just have to keep making, you have to keep moving forward. There's this Japanese philosophy called Kaizen, and it means constant and never-ending improvement. So today, you just have to be better than yesterday. And each day, like every week, you will see yourself moving closer and closer and closer to your goal of what you want. Again, I never got like ultra rich. I don't have helicopters or jets or, houses all over the world. I didn't want houses all over the world. I didn't want jets. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to be here. I want to be home. I want to be comfortable. I want to be secure. I want to enjoy life. I like to enjoy the beauty. I like to see sunrises and sunsets. I like to work out outside, and I love to be with animals and help animals. We each have our causes, and that's what it can allow you to do too. If you get yourself in a better position, you're able to make better changes in the world. What can you do? What can you do if you have nothing? Yeah, you can post on the internet. You can complain. You can go march and with a bunch of other poor people and demand, march in the streets and eat the rich, complain. It doesn't do anything. How many times have there been marches and protests out in the street about inequality? We've had inequality forever. It's just who works for it and who doesn't. We're never going to live in a world where working 20 hours is going to get you a Ferrari. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. That's what people expect. Or they just want to sit home and watch TV and do nothing and think that everything's going to be okay. Whoever set that expectation for you? Who? It's a lie. It's never going to happen. Think about our forefathers just 100 years ago. Today is 2023. Let's go back to 1923, the Great Depression. What were those people living through? They didn't have microwaves or, cell phones or computers or the internet. What did they have? They had electricity. They had indoor plumbing, but that was about it. They had a car. They had cars. Not everybody had cars then. But now let's go back 100 years from that, 1823. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have cars. They had horses. They lived in cabins. They didn't have, multi-level buildings. They didn't have grocery stores where they went to get food. They grew their own food. They woke up and said, okay, we need to eat. What do? We have to hunt. We have to harvest our gardens or forage for vegetables, fruits, and berries, or that, 100 years before that, 1723, what did they have? 100 years before that, 1623, what did they have? 100 years before that, 1523, what did they have? 100 years before that, 1423, what did they have? 100 years before that, 1323. 2023, America was native Indians. They lived in leather teepees. They had no shelter except leather. They got up every morning and the goal was find food. That's how our forefathers lived. It was all about survival. Today we are blessed. I don't care how poor you are. I guarantee, one, if you're watching this, you have the internet, right? You're on the internet. You have the world of knowledge at your fingertips. You have electricity. Walk over to your bathroom and flush the toilet. You have indoor plumbing. Go run the sink water. You can get a glass of water, and it's clean. We are blessed, and we're complaining, right? So, if you're fine with that, that's enough. If you want nothing, you still have a better life than kings and queens from the 1300s. You have a better life than kings and queens of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. This last 100 years, we have lived better than any society. How blessed we are to be born in this century with all that we have. And we complain about how hard it is. It's hard. It's so hard. It's awful. We have a lot to be grateful for. It's not that difficult. It's not as bad as waking up in a leather teepee, waking up hungry, looking around and having nothing to eat, and knowing if you don't go out and kill something, you have to kill a deer or a rabbit or a squirrel, something to eat, or go fish, or go just find berries. How hard was that? That is hard. That is survival. And those people did it to get us here today. If they wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't be here. So our job today, to get the next generation to flourish, is just to do our part. Someone has to work at the convenience store. Someone has to work at the restaurant. Someone has to do the plumbing. Someone has to do the electrical lines. Someone has to work in the furniture store. Somebody has to work in the phone store. Somebody has to put roofs on houses. Somebody has to run the heavy equipment to do excavation work. Somebody has to construct buildings. There's all sorts of work that needs to be done. Somebody needs to pave the roads. Somebody needs to work on the cars. Somebody needs to sell the cars. Somebody needs to sell the houses. That's me. Somebody needs to make microphones. Somebody needs to make cell phones. Somebody needs to make computers. There's all kinds of work. You have to pick your job. What are you gonna do? What role are you gonna serve for our society? And what job are you gonna do, and do it well, and do it with a good attitude, and be grateful for what we have. That's what we have to do. It's not a bad message. It's just reality. It is the reality of life. You can have as much as you want or as little as you want. We're blessed to live in a society. If all you want to do is sit at home and watch TV, guess what? We'll pay you to do it. You can get on welfare here and just sit at home and watch TV. But you know what you can't do? You can't complain that you don't have more, because that's the life you chose. If that's what you want, that's what you get. That's the rule of the universe. You get what you give. And that's what we end up with. However much you're willing to put in is how much you'll get back. Complaining is not going to do anything. Production will get you everything you want. Everything. That's what we have to do. I appreciate you watching. I hope you're not mad at me. I just want to tell some truth. I want to set expectations. And it's just been on my mind because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling. And I never hear this message. You just don't hear this message much. And I just want to share my knowledge. It's the way I did it. You know? And like, I get, like, we see all these rich people, you know, the ultra rich. They're flying around on their private jets and living in their glorious mansions and taking all their wonderful vacations. You can have that life too. If you really want it, it's possible. I don't think it's a worthy life. I think there's a point of excess where it gets to be disgusting to me. But that's just me, you know. I'm not comfortable living that far above my fellow man. I've reached a point that I'm comfortable, that I don't feel evil, you know. And I feel like if I had that much money, I would feel guilty, you know. But I've worked hard enough for mine that I don't feel guilty because I know what I did to get here. And that's why I wanted to share it with you, because I know you could replicate it. What I've done is replicatable. And that's all I'm trying to do, is give you hope that it can be done, that the pain that you feel today will go away with discipline. I'll leave you with one last quote for those of you that have never heard it. You're going to suffer one of two ways, either through the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. You can endure the pain of going through the work, and in the end, you'll get the prize. Or don't endure the pain of discipline, and in the end, you'll have the pain of disappointment. But the choice is yours. Choose discipline or choose disappointment. Either way, it's hard. But where you end up will be totally different, depending on the path that you choose. And I'll help you choose discipline, because it'll take you to a wonderful place. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.